I think is waking up." The voice sounded far away. I tried to open my eyes, but everything hurt. My chest burned. My head felt heavy. I could barely breathe. "Easy," a gentle woman said. "Don't move yet." I forced my eyes open. A small wooden ceiling came into view. The room smelled like medicine and old wood. I looked at the woman beside my bed. "Where am I?" I whispered. "You are safe," she replied. "My name is Grace. I'm a nurse. What happened to me?" "You were found near the river after a bridge accident. You almost didn't make it." The bridge. The memory hit me like another crash. Rain. Slippery road. My brakes failing. The guardrail breaking. Then darkness. "My wife," I said quickly. "Olivia. She needs to know I'm alive." Grace lowered her eyes. "We couldn't contact anyone." "Why not?" "There was no wallet. No phone. No identification." I stared at her. "Someone must have taken them." "We searched everything," she answered softly. "There was nothing." I tried to sit up. "I have to leave." Grace gently pushed me back. "You have broken ribs. Your shoulder is injured. If you leave now, you'll die." I closed my eyes. Before the accident, Olivia and I had signed the divorce papers. We had spent months arguing. She believed I had betrayed our company. She refused to believe I was innocent. Now she probably thought I had disappeared forever. Grace handed me a glass of water. "Drink slowly." I nodded. "How long have I been here?" 9 days. 9 days. She looked uncomfortable. "There is something you should see." She reached into a drawer and handed me a newspaper. My hands shook as I unfolded it. The headline stole my breath. "Local businessman Ethan Carter presumed dead after bridge collapse." Below the headline was my photograph. No, I read every word. Search teams had failed to recover my body. The police declared me legally presumed dead. My company had released a public statement. Olivia had asked for privacy. I dropped the newspaper. "I'm alive." "I know," Grace said quietly. "They buried me without a body. They believed the river carried you away." I laughed once. It wasn't happiness. It sounded broken. I lost everything. Grace pulled up a chair. "You haven't lost everything." "I lost my name." "You still have your life." "What kind of life is this?" She looked directly into my eyes. "The kind you can rebuild." I wanted to believe her. Instead, I remembered Mason, my best friend, my business partner, the last person I had argued with before the accident. He had looked strangely calm when I told him someone was stealing money from the company. His last words echoed inside my head. "Don't worry, Ethan. Everything will work itself out." At the time, I trusted him. Now, lying in that quiet room, I wasn't sure I trusted anyone anymore. 3 months passed before I could walk without pain. Grace never asked for money. She only smiled and said, "Getting better is enough payment." One morning I looked at her. "I can't hide forever." She folded her arms. "What are you planning?" "I need answers." "Ethan, if someone wanted you dead, going back could be dangerous." "I know." She sighed. "Then promise me one thing." "What?" "Don't let anger make your decisions." "I'll try." She handed me a dark hoodie and a baseball cap. "These should help." I thanked her and left before sunrise. The city looked the same, but I felt like a stranger. Every street reminded me of the life I had lost. My office stood in the distance, but I kept walking. The cemetery was already full. I stopped behind a large oak tree and pulled my hood lower. People dressed in black surrounded a polished coffin. My coffin. A priest spoke quietly, but I barely heard him. All I could hear was my heartbeat. Then I saw Olivia. She looked thinner than I remembered. Dark circles rested beneath her eyes. She stepped toward the coffin. "I'm sorry," she whispered, tears falling. "I was angry. I should have listened to you." My chest tightened. For one painful second, I wanted to run to her. I wanted to say, "I'm here." Instead, I stayed hidden. A familiar hand rested on Olivia's shoulder. "Mason," he spoke softly. "You need to stay strong." "I don't know how," Olivia answered. "You still have people who care about you." "I lost my husband." His voice sounded gentle, but something felt wrong. He wasn't grieving. He was performing. I watched his face carefully. His eyes stayed dry. His expression changed whenever nobody looked at him. The sadness disappeared for a split second before returning again. A cold feeling spread through me. Harper suddenly stepped forward. No. Everyone turned toward her. This doesn't feel right. An older relative touched her arm. Harper, please. She shook her head. My brother wouldn't leave without saying goodbye. The priest spoke kindly. Sometimes life gives us no choice. I don't believe it, she replied. Something happened. I bit my lip so hard it almost bled. I wanted to hug my little sister. Instead, I stayed behind the tree, gripping the rough bark until my hands hurt. The ceremony ended. People slowly walked away. Olivia remained beside the grave. I wish I could tell you how sorry I am, she whispered. My eyes filled with tears. I almost stepped forward. Then Mason returned. He looked around to make sure nobody stood nearby. His voice dropped into a whisper. Everything finally belongs to me. Time froze. Every doubt inside me became certainty. The bridge, the missing identification, the fake sympathy. None of it was an accident. I quietly stepped backward before Mason could notice me. My old life had ended long before that funeral. As I disappeared through the cemetery gate, I made myself one silent promise. I would stay dead until I uncovered the truth behind every lie. 6 months passed after my funeral. My body healed faster than my heart. Every morning Grace reminded me, "You survived for a reason." I wish I knew that reason, I answered. Then stop hiding from the truth. I'm trying. One afternoon, someone knocked on the clinic door. Grace looked outside, then smiled. "You have a visitor." I frowned. Nobody knows I'm here. They do now. A tall man walked inside. He stared at me for several seconds before laughing quietly. "I can't believe you're alive." "Noah." I stood and hugged my childhood friend. "I thought I lost you," he whispered. "I almost died." He stepped back. Grace told me everything. I nearly shouted when she called. Grace folded her arms. I warned him to stay calm. "I did my best," Noah said with a grin. I looked at him. "Can you keep this secret?" "I'd rather die than betray you. I need a new life." He nodded immediately. "I already started working on that." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "You can't use your real name anymore. Everyone believes Ethan Carter is dead. So what happens now? You become someone else." A week later, Noah placed several papers on the table. "Meet Evan Cole." I picked up the documents. A driver's license. A rental agreement. A bank account. Ow. I still know people who owe me favors. I smiled for the first time in months. "You always did enjoy impossible jobs." He laughed. "You always enjoyed getting into trouble." Grace interrupted us. "New papers won't protect him if he rushes back." "I know," Noah replied. I looked at both of them. "I don't want revenge." Grace raised an eyebrow. "What do you want?" "I want the truth." Noah reached into his backpack again. "I brought something else." He handed me a small flash drive. "What's this?" "A copy of the company's financial records." My heartbeat quickened. "How did you get them?" "I still have friends working there." I connected the drive to an old laptop. Folders filled the screen. Invoices, contracts, transfers. Everything looked normal until I opened one file. I froze. "What is it?" Grace asked. I pointed at the screen. "That signature isn't mine." Noah leaned closer. "Are you sure?" "I signed thousands of documents. I know my own handwriting." Another file appeared. Then another. Each carried my name. Each signature was fake. My stomach tightened. "Mason forged these." Grace whispered, "Can you prove it?" "I can." Noah frowned. "There's more." He opened another folder. A document appeared with Olivia's signature beneath divorce papers. Attached was an accusation stating I had stolen money from our own company. I felt the room spinning. She believed this. Noah lowered his voice. She believed every word. I closed the laptop slowly. For the first time since surviving the bridge, I understood something that hurt even more than the accident. The woman I loved had never asked me if the accusations were true. I could not stop staring at the screen. No, I whispered. Olivia would never believe this without asking me. Grace sat beside me. Pain makes people trust the wrong voices. I trusted the wrong one too. You mean Mason? I nodded. I called him my brother. Noah leaned against the wall. Then he knew exactly how to hurt you. I rubbed my face. I keep asking myself the same question. What question? Grace asked. How long was he planning this? Nobody answered. The silence felt heavier than any words. The next morning, Noah returned carrying another folder. I found something else. What is it? Emails. I opened the first message. My chest tightened immediately. The messages claimed I had approved fake payments and hidden company money overseas. They are fake, I said. I know, Noah replied. The dates don't even match my business trips. Grace looked over my shoulder. Someone spent months creating these. I shut the folder. Mason wanted everyone to believe I became greedy. And it worked, Noah said quietly. I looked out the window. I lost my marriage before I lost my life. Grace spoke gently. You still have a choice. What choice? You can let anger control you. And the other choice? You can let the truth speak. I laughed bitterly. The truth has been silent for a long time. Later that afternoon, my new phone rang. Noah answered first. Who is this? A calm voice replied. Tell Ethan I'm calling as a friend. Noah looked at me. It's for you. I took the phone carefully. This is Ethan. I know who you are. My heart raced. Who are you? My name is Daniel Ross. I stayed quiet. I won't reveal your secret, he continued. How did you find me? I never believed you died. I frowned. What do you want? I've been reviewing your accident. And there are too many questions. I sat down slowly. What kind of questions? The bridge cameras stopped recording 10 minutes before your crash. I gripped the phone tighter. What else? Your vehicle inspection report disappeared. I exchanged a worried look with Noah. Daniel continued speaking. Someone also pressured local officers to close the case quickly. Do you know who? Not yet. I swallowed hard. So why call me now? Because I finally know you're alive. Can I trust you? You don't have to. Then why help me? Because someone tried very hard to make sure the truth stayed buried. My pulse pounded in my ears. I need proof. You'll get it. When? Soon. He paused for several seconds before speaking again. Ethan. Yes. I had an engineer inspect the remains of your car. I held my breath. What did the report say? His voice became firm. Your brakes didn't fail from where? My hands began shaking. They were deliberately damaged before the crash. The room fell completely silent. I closed my eyes as every memory returned. The rain. The bridge. Mason's calm smile. When I finally opened my eyes, only one thought remained. Someone had never wanted me to survive. I stared at the wall long after Detective Daniel ended the call. My hands were still shaking. Grace walked into the room carrying 2 cups of coffee. You look pale, she said. I just learned someone wanted me dead. She placed a cup in front of me. Then don't waste your second chance. I won't. Noah entered a few minutes later. So, what's the plan? I stop hiding, I replied. He frowned. Not publicly. No. Quietly. Grace looked at both of us. You need proof before you face Mason. I know. Noah opened his laptop. I've been watching the company. Did you find anything? He nodded. Mason has been moving money through fake accounts. Can we trace them? Some of them. I leaned closer. Show me. He clicked through several files. These transfers started 2 weeks after your funeral. I studied every number. He couldn't wait. No, Noah replied. He couldn't. I took a deep breath. We keep collecting evidence. Grace smiled. That's the smartest thing you've said in months. A few days later, I visited the city wearing a cap and dark glasses. Noah whispered, Stay close. I will. We walked into a crowded cafe. Nobody looked at me twice. For the first time since the accident, I felt invisible. Then my heart nearly stopped. Harper walked through the front door. I quickly turned my face away. Noah whispered, "Don't move." She ordered coffee only a few feet away. I heard her speaking on the phone. "I don't care what the police say. My brother didn't just disappear." My chest tightened. "I'll keep looking," she continued. "Something isn't right." I wanted to stand. I wanted to hug her. Instead, I remained silent. She looked around the cafe. For one terrifying second, her eyes rested on me. I lowered my head. After a long moment, she walked away. Noah released a slow breath. That was close. Too close. Back at the clinic, my phone rang. "This is Daniel." "I'm listening." "I need to meet someone tomorrow." "Evelyn Brooks." I froze. "Mason's wife?" "Yes." "Why?" "She contacted me." "What did she say?" "Only that she's afraid." The next evening I waited inside an empty warehouse with Noah nearby. Daniel arrived first. A woman stepped out of another car. She looked nervous. "I'm Evelyn," she whispered. "I know who you are." She looked directly at me. I never imagined I'd meet a dead man. I'm still trying to believe it myself. She swallowed hard. "I think my husband has been lying to everyone." My heartbeat quickened. "What happened?" "I found bank transfers I couldn't explain." She reached into her handbag, and someone deleted dozens of emails from his computer. Daniel accepted a small flash drive. Evelyn looked at me with frightened eyes. "I don't know everything." "What do you know?" I asked. She hesitated before answering. "I know Mason has been meeting Victor Hale in secret." The name hit me like another crash. Victor Hale had invested in our company just before my accident. I looked at Daniel. "This is bigger than I thought." Daniel nodded slowly. "I believe you're right." Evelyn looked at me with trembling hands. "I never wanted to be part of this," she whispered. I kept my voice calm. "Then tell me everything you know." She took a deep breath. "After your funeral, Mason started acting differently." "What changed?" "He locked his office every night." Daniel opened a notebook. "Go on." "I saw large bank transfers from company accounts into businesses I had never heard of." "Did you ask him about them?" I said, "Yes." "What did he say?" "He laughed and told me rich people always hide money." I exchanged a glance with Daniel. Evelyn continued. "Then I noticed deleted emails." "You recovered them?" "No. I only saw the computer cleaning itself after every meeting with Victor Hale." Daniel leaned forward. "Did you ever hear their conversations?" "Only pieces." "What did they say?" I heard Victor ask, "Are you sure the problem is gone?" My heartbeat became louder. And Mason answered, "Dead men never come back." The room fell silent. Daniel closed his notebook. "Thank you. You've helped more than you realize." Evelyn nodded sadly. "I only want the truth." "You'll have it," I promised. A week later, Noah returned with fresh information. "I've been watching Olivia." I looked up. "How is she?" He hesitated. "Not well." "What happened?" "Mason convinced her to sign away her company shares." I frowned. She agreed. She trusted him. And then? He pushed her out of the company the next day. I closed my eyes. So she finally knows. I think she does. That evening, I parked across the street from the office building. I watched Olivia leave through the front entrance carrying a small box. She looked exhausted. Mason walked behind her. I rolled down my window just enough to hear them. Olivia's voice shook. "You promised we'd rebuild the company together." "I changed my mind," Mason replied. "You lied to me. You signed every document. You used me. You were useful." She stared at him. "I destroyed my marriage because I believed you. You made your own choices. I trusted you. That was your mistake." He walked away without looking back. I remained frozen inside my car. Part of me felt satisfied. Another part felt completely empty. No matter what she had done to me, seeing her broken still hurt. I whispered to myself, "I miss the woman you used to be." My phone rang. It was Daniel. "I need you to hear something." "I'm listening." I received security footage from a nearby repair shop. What does it show? The owner finally checked an old backup drive. I gripped the phone tightly. Tell me. The camera faces the street where your car was parked the night before the crash. My breathing slowed. Daniel spoke carefully. The video shows someone walking to your car. Can you identify the person? Not clearly. What are they doing? They stay beside the front wheel for several minutes. My heart pounded. Before I could ask another question, Daniel added one final sentence. Olivia has just arrived at the station. Why? Because she's watching the same footage. I closed my eyes. For the first time since my funeral, I knew everything was about to change. The morning after Daniel called me, I could not sleep. Grace noticed my restless face. You've been pacing for an hour, she said. I feel like everything is about to change. She handed me breakfast. Then eat first. Revolutions are easier on a full stomach. I smiled faintly. I'll remember that. My phone rang. Daniel spoke immediately. I've gathered enough witnesses to reopen the case. Who agreed to testify? Evelyn is coming forward. I sat up straight. Is she safe? For now. What about Victor? He doesn't know Evelyn has already talked. I hope it stays that way. It won't. 2 hours later, Noah drove me to a small office where Daniel waited. Evelyn was already inside. She looked exhausted. I barely slept, she admitted. You don't have to do this, I told her. Yes, I do. Why? Because I married a man I no longer recognize. Daniel placed several folders on the table. These are the financial records Evelyn copied. I opened the first folder. Wire transfers. Hidden accounts. Fake companies. Every page pointed back to Mason. I looked at Evelyn. How did you get these? I copied them before he locked his computer. You risked everything. She nodded. I couldn't live with myself if I stayed silent. Daniel pointed at another document. This payment was made 3 days before your accident. I studied it carefully. It came from the company. Yes. Who received it? A mechanic. My stomach tightened. The mechanic who serviced my car. Daniel nodded slowly. We're trying to find him. Noah folded his arms. Mason paid someone before the crash. That's what it looks like, Daniel replied. Before anyone spoke again, Daniel's phone buzzed. He answered. Ross speaking. His expression changed. I understand. He ended the call. What happened? I asked. Victor Hale wants to meet. Evelyn looked surprised. Why now? Daniel shrugged. I think he's scared. That afternoon we met Victor inside a private conference room. He looked nervous from the moment I entered. His eyes widened. So, it's true. Yes, I answered. I'm alive. He rubbed his forehead. I never expected this. Daniel spoke first. We need answers. Victor sighed heavily. I invested money. That's all. Did you know Mason planned the fraud? No. Did you know about the forged documents? No. I stepped closer. Look at me. He slowly raised his eyes. If you're lying, I'll know. He swallowed hard. I didn't know he planned to destroy you. But you knew something. He stayed silent. Daniel leaned forward. Talk. Victor closed his eyes. Mason promised complete control of the company. What did he offer you? I asked. Profit. And when did you realize something was wrong? The night I heard him say your accident solved every problem. The room became silent. Victor lowered his head. I should have reported him. Why didn't you? I was afraid. I stared at him for several seconds. Fear doesn't erase responsibility. He nodded slowly. I know. Then he pushed a folder across the table. I'm done protecting Mason. I opened it carefully. Inside were signed agreements, private messages, and payment records. Enough evidence to destroy everything Mason had built. Daniel looked at me. This changes the case. I nodded. No. I closed the folder. This changes everything. After Victor left, Daniel looked at me. Are you ready? I took a slow breath. I've been ready since the bridge. 3 days later, the courthouse was surrounded by reporters. Noah adjusted my jacket. Once you walk inside, there's no turning back. I don't want to turn back. Grace squeezed my shoulder. Whatever happens, remember who you became. I nodded. I will. Daniel entered the courtroom first with Evelyn beside him. I stayed outside the main doors. This is your moment, Noah whispered. Not yet. From the hallway I could hear every voice inside. The judge called the hearing to order. Daniel stood. Your Honor, we have new evidence involving fraud, conspiracy, and attempted murder. Mason laughed. This is ridiculous. Daniel remained calm. We also have financial records. They are fake. Evelyn Brooks provided them. Mason's confidence faded for only a second. My wife doesn't understand business. Then I heard Evelyn speak. I understand honesty. Silence followed. Daniel continued. We also interviewed Victor Hale. Mason shouted, he's lying. Another voice filled the courtroom. I am not. Victor had arrived. You promised me profit, Victor said. You never told me your plan included destroying Ethan. Mason pointed at him. You're trying to save yourself. Victor answered quietly. No, I'm finally telling the truth. My heart pounded harder. Then I heard Olivia. Her voice sounded weak. I need to say something. The courtroom became quiet. I trusted lies instead of trusting my husband. No one interrupted her. I believed forged documents without asking Ethan for the truth. Her voice broke. I signed the divorce papers because I thought he had betrayed me. She wiped away tears. I betrayed him first. Every word cut deeply. If Ethan could hear me today, she continued, I would tell him I was wrong. I would apologize for every moment I doubted him. I closed my eyes. She had no idea I was standing only a few steps away. The judge looked across the courtroom. Does anyone else wish to speak? Daniel turned toward the entrance. Yes, Your Honor. He opened the courtroom doors. I walked inside. Every face turned toward me. The room became completely silent. Someone dropped a folder. A reporter gasped. Olivia stared at me without moving. Her lips trembled. Ethan. I stopped in the center of the courtroom. I'm alive. She fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her face. I don't understand. Mason's face lost all color. He stepped backwards. No. His voice shook. That's impossible. I looked directly into his eyes. You should have checked before planning my funeral. He could not answer. The judge struck the bench with the gavel. Order. Daniel placed the final evidence on the judge's desk. Your Honor, every document has been verified. The judge reviewed the files carefully. Several long minutes passed. Finally, the judge looked up. This court has received substantial new evidence. Everyone waited. Because of the seriousness of these allegations, this hearing is adjourned. My heartbeat echoed through the silent courtroom. The judge raised the gavel one final time. The verdict is delayed until every piece of evidence has been fully reviewed. Mason lowered his head. For the first time since the bridge collapsed beneath me, I saw genuine fear in his eyes. The morning of the final hearing felt different. Grace stood beside me outside the courthouse. How do you feel? She asked. Nervous. Good. I smiled. Good. It means your heart still cares. Noah adjusted my tie. Today ends one chapter. And begins another, I replied. Daniel walked toward us carrying several thick folders. Everything is ready. Any surprises? I asked. Only the truth. We entered the courtroom together. Mason was already sitting beside his lawyer. He looked tired. For the first time, I saw fear instead of confidence. The judge entered. Please be seated. Everyone became quiet. Daniel stood first. Your Honor, we have completed the investigation. The judge nodded. Proceed. Daniel presented the financial records. He explained the forged contracts. He showed the hidden bank accounts. He played recordings of secret conversations. Then he displayed the security footage showing someone tampering with my car. Mason's lawyer stood. We object. The judge looked at him. On what grounds? The evidence is incomplete. Daniel calmly answered. The mechanic who accepted payment has confessed. The courtroom filled with whispers. I looked at Mason. He avoided my eyes. Daniel continued. The witness admitted he damaged my client's brakes after receiving instructions through an intermediary. The judge turned toward Mason. Do you wish to respond? Mason slowly stood. I never told anyone to hurt Ethan. Daniel spoke again. The bank transfers came from your personal account. They prove nothing. Daniel placed another document before the judge. These messages discuss removing obstacles before taking control of the company. Mason remained silent. His lawyer whispered urgently. Mason finally answered. I made mistakes. Daniel's voice became firm. Attempted murder is not a mistake. The room fell silent. Victor entered the witness box. I want to tell the truth. The judge nodded. You may proceed. Victor looked directly at me. I accepted business deals because I wanted money. He lowered his head. I ignored warning signs. Daniel asked, did Mason ever mention Ethan's accident? Yes. What did he say? He told me every problem had disappeared. The judge wrote several notes. Daniel called one final witness. The mechanic entered nervously. He avoided looking at anyone. Daniel asked quietly, did you damage Ethan Carter's car? The man swallowed hard. Yes. Why? I was paid. By whom? He pointed toward Mason. The courtroom exploded with shocked voices. The judge struck the bench. Order. I closed my eyes for a moment. The truth I had carried alone was finally standing in the open. Nothing could bury it anymore. Nothing could bring back the life I had lost. But maybe it could protect the life I still had. I opened my eyes again. Mason looked completely defeated. The trial was finally reaching its end. The courtroom became silent as the judge reviewed every document one last time. My hands were steady. My heart was not. The judge looked toward Mason. Please stand. Mason rose slowly. His face had lost every trace of confidence. The judge began reading the decision. After reviewing the evidence, this court finds you guilty of fraud, conspiracy, attempted murder, forgery, and multiple financial crimes. The words echoed through the room. Mason closed his eyes. His lawyer lowered his head. Court officers stepped forward. One officer said, "Please come with us." Mason looked at me for the first time since the hearing began. "You won." I shook my head. "No." He frowned. "I survived." He opened his mouth to speak again, but no words came. The officers led him away. I watched him disappear through the courtroom doors. The man who had stolen my life had finally lost his own freedom. Daniel walked beside me. "It's over." I smiled quietly. "Thank you. You earned this." Victor approached us. "I'll be facing my own investigation." I nodded. "You made your choices." "I know. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I can't give what you never earned." He accepted my answer without another word and walked away. A familiar voice stopped me. "Ethan." I turned around. Olivia stood only a few steps away. Her eyes were red from crying. "I don't deserve your time." I stayed silent. She took a deep breath. I believed lies because they were easier than asking difficult questions. I listened without interrupting. "I thought you had changed." She wiped away fresh tears. "I never imagined someone would use my trust against me." My chest tightened. "I'm sorry." She looked directly into my eyes. "Losing you taught me the cost of believing manipulation instead of love." I could hear the pain in every word. "I wanted one chance to tell you that." I nodded slowly. "I forgive you." She covered her mouth. "But forgiveness doesn't erase everything." She closed her eyes. "I know. We can't go back. I understand. I'll always hope you find peace." She gave me a sad smile. "And I hope you find happiness." She quietly walked away. I watched her disappear into the crowd. Some stories deserve another beginning. Ours deserved a peaceful ending. A familiar voice called my name. "Ethan." I turned just in time to see Harper running toward me. She threw her arms around me. "I knew it," she cried. "I knew you couldn't be gone." I hugged her tightly. "I'm sorry I couldn't come home." "You came back." "Yes. That's enough." We stood together without speaking for a long moment. Grace smiled as she watched us. I walked toward her. You never stopped believing I could rebuild my life. She laughed softly. I only reminded you what was already inside you. You saved me. You chose to live. We left the courthouse together. The afternoon sun felt warmer than I remembered. Before going home, I asked Noah to stop at one place. The cemetery. I stood quietly before the stone carrying my name. No flowers could tell the real story. Only I knew the truth. I placed one hand on the cold stone. Then I smiled. The man buried here died long ago. I looked toward the bright sky. Today, I finally began living.